Hey, what's up, everybody? International Master Willam Paschall. We are Slaggy on Twitch and playing under the account Sparkle Horse on lichess.org. We're going to be playing blitz and classical chess here today, and the fastest time control I'm willing to play is 5+3, the longest 7+3. We recently shortened it up from 8+3 to 7+3 to kind of conserve time. So any time control between 7 and 5+3. Basically, you can use an increment up to 5 seconds with the 5 or 6 minute challenges, if you want to. So I don't know, whatever you prefer, like 6+5 or 7+3, or in between. All right, nothing faster than 5+3, nothing longer than 7+3. I think it's pretty obvious. We've got challenges from Morales, Troll on a Roll, Knight to D5, Mule Skinner. Troll is not a subscriber, but he's kind of almost an honorary viewer. Knight to D5 was a subscriber. So we're going to honor those challenges along with Morales and Mule Skinner. Troll, I'd like to encourage you to subscribe. Alright, but you spent all your money on vodka. I'm playing Morales first. You know, it's a worthy expenditure of your funds, but maybe you can make your own at home or something. All right, let's get started here with Morales. He's playing King's Indian. How do I want to deal? Let's just play. Actually, let's play E4 against him, because I'm a little bored of playing the same opening. We played the King's Indian several times yesterday in my simul, which was a really tough simul. I think one of the strongest simuls I've played of the last 2 years. I've been streaming for like over a year and a half now, and I think yesterday's simul, excuse me, was one of the strongest. I have very few players under 1800, and quite a few players in the 2100s and higher. So it was, or at least that strength. It was really tough. I managed a plus score. Gladys Troll, how can you not like vodka? Damn, dude. What do? You drink scotch or something? Alright, Knight to D5. You're subscribed. You're not subscribed when you start earning money. Well, you were subscribed before. I remember. Knight to D5. So we'll give you a game on the house here. Bishop G7. I mean, you could normally wait, but, you know, I know you were frustrated before not getting a game. Or you were one of the last ones to get to play one time. So we'll go ahead and play him. What's up, Antonio? I'm playing Knight F3. Okay, I should really get something real here against the modern defense. It's more aggressive to play Knight C3. So I should probably learn either, you know, well, it's not the pure, it's the modern. I should really probably bear down and play. Yeah. So D5, that's odd. He's playing kind of C3 Sicilian after that. Well, C3 Sicilian style. He hasn't played C5. I haven't played C3, but, you know, it looks like a C3 Sicilian after E takes D, Queen takes D5. I play those lines with G6 and the C3 Sicilian that are quite similar. Similar but different, because there's no pawn on C5, of course. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen this move against Knight C3. Emery Tate and Oliver Mihawk, two people I know who have played that. Some weird line. You go like Knight C3 and D5. But against Knight F3, I guess we should just play takes. I mean, it's the only consequent move. I'm not sure what the deal with this is. Becoming like a weird Scandinavian? Or he's intending to play like some kind of weird gambit. It looks like something I would do. You know, you could play Knight H6 now. It's like not sound, but it's a funny opening that I play. With Knight C3, it is, yeah, it is kind of dubious, I guess, theoretically. Glass cleaning liquids, like Windex. That's what Troll. That's explaining why Troll is so slow on the clock. He's got brain damage from the Windex. What does drinking Windex, how does that affect the body, I wonder? Probably not good. Alright. D5, E takes D. He plays Queen takes. Well, It's like he played g6 in the Scandinavian. I mean, these lines exist. Fischer famously won a game against somebody like Robach, or I don't remember who. The system with like queen takes, d5, queen a5, and g6 has always been like considered dubious by the books. But I wonder in reality how bad it really is. If we play... I mean, there's really two ways for white to play here. To try to attack f7 and maybe combine some ideas of like knight e5 and knight c4. Or this is a fast game, 6-3. Or to try to play for exchanging the bishop like on h6, I guess. It's a pretty tough call, actually. I really don't know how I should do this. I guess I could kind of treat it like a Grunfeld or some kind of, what else would you call it? Some kind of line where I just try to restrict the bishop on c8. Basically, I'll play h3 and not let him trade that piece off like a Schlechter-Slav Grunfeld. Let's see, castles bishop g4 is possible, unfortunately. Castles bishop g4. So I think we need to play h3. We don't want this bishop to have a happy home, and that'll be like, you know, making it harder for black to effectively develop all his pieces into the game. Hey Bob, what's up? Gladys Troll. You feel your pieces are restricted in the opening, but this time somehow I felt like I was chasing mine. Gladys Troll, I have a bad record with that reversed Alekhine's defense in Simos for some reason. I remember losing on a couple of other occasions. But I just sat there like logically thinking, okay, I need to attack the center, I'll just play c4, you know, and I didn't actually even stop to think what was happening. It was like moronic. It's an opening I don't play too frequently, and so I can't really play it quickly on intuition, which I tried to do yesterday. I really need to think. I played it against Larry Christensen once in a tournament game. That went okay. It was a draw. But I have to be focused like totally on that position because it's not one I usually play. That's one thing about my Simos that are fun but also hard for me, that I play so many different openings. But I wouldn't have it any other way, you know. There's some Simul givers who play like, you know, their set repertoire every single game. Okay, I could do that too and have a better score, but you know, it's not fun. This is more fun. It's more fun for you guys that I play more different openings, and it's more fun for me. It doesn't get monotonous. So what we, you know, we sacrifice in score a little bit, but we have more fun playing different stuff. C5 for Morales. Whew, that move feels wrong. I mean, fundamentally right in a way to extend your bishop on g7 like a Grunfeld, but you're opening it up with a, you know, still not that much development here. Tough decision. d5, knight takes d5 is interesting. I just take with the bishop there. So I can play d5, then the whole structure would transform. I don't know. If I don't play d5, I have like bishop e5 check. Doesn't help me at all. What else can we do, really? The structure doesn't look very threatening if I don't do d5. I don't know, man. I don't like the look of this either. I feel like it doesn't make sense with my bishop on c4 and whatnot. Alright, I don't like this. Maybe I can make it work somehow. I've got to be very, very careful. I didn't really like my other options though. Taking on c5 is lame. Letting you take on d4 feels lame. This move I didn't consider. That's okay. Let's see. Bishop takes c3. I do have bishop check for whatever that's worth, which is probably nothing. Yeah, I guess knight e4 is just strong. I'm going to have to sacrifice something. No, this is like, you gotta sack the exchange here. Well, you don't gotta. That's the problem. You gotta, Kamsky. You don't gotta sack the exchange. I could sack the exchange with bishop h6. And it's interesting, but not that convincing. I don't have a lot of ammo left after I sack the exchange there. I'm sure that it's playable, but with the little time left, I felt I might not be able to find the correct best moves. This move looks kind of lame. Fast time control, this 6+3, it's deceptive. Nobody likes the 5-second increments. Was bishop d2 possible instead of rook b1? Yeah, I guess. But I didn't really want my knight drawn off of f3. My knight is there to deliver cheap checkmates on h7. My move order here, pretty lame. Alright, it's just about time and tactics now. Nothing else really left to play for here. It's a 1-minute game with 3-second increment. Cheapo galore. 17 pawn moves. Oh, that's a game from Bob? I thought Soltigo was sharing something. One of his games. 17 pawn moves in a row. I don't think I could emulate that. F6, D6 check? D6 check is interesting. No, I can't. No. I can't do that. It was tempting, but he just takes, I think, on c4. We definitely have some compensation. Wait a minute here. Queen c3. unfortunately, I have to be really careful about my so-called attack here. I need the other rook in the game. What? Well, he has that. And what am I doing? All right, this got out of control. All right, I don't know. It got really out of control there. I thought I was like maybe worse at one point. I guess not. Here you have queen c4, but you're apparently still losing, though I didn't see the refutation, knight h4. Queen c4, queen h6, king g8, knight h4. So it was actually a strong attack for me. Okay, Morales. Let's go on to the next game. We're going to take mostly subscribers. I'm making an exception for Troll on a Roll. It was a fun game, at least. But Troll, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the stream. Use your troll winnings. I always have a bishop on h1 every single Chess 960 game. Damn, dude, how can that be possible? That is just weird. Like every time I have the same configuration. It's so strange. All right, here we go again. He has the same rating as Iman. Iman sent me an email, which I appreciated, from a very strange email account that he had just made up, it looked like. But maybe not. Anyway, so the guy claims that he's like 2,000 approximately FIDE. And, you know, I appreciate that he actually responded, you know, or, you know, made an attempt to clarify the situation. So, you know, I felt I kind of accused him of probably being a computer primarily based on his rating. If he was like 2,000, I wouldn't be suspicious, but it's just like 1666. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I'm probably going to give Iman another chance. The account that I'm really, you know, frustrated by is Snowball, because I know that I've played badly against him, but it's like he's never ever made a blunder except for 2 weeks ago when he sacked a piece against me unsoundly. But he never ever makes a tactical mistake, you know, and that's usually a very bad sign. So I don't know what I'm going to do with Snowball, but I think I you know, I was unfair to Iman because he played 2 games with a 1666 rating. I said, okay, this guy's got to be cheating. But it's possible if he's legitimately like 2,000 FIDE. We'll see. You know, if he plays another 3 games with no mistakes, then whatever. But all right, I don't want to, like, you know, accuse people prematurely for, you know, with cheating. Here, I'm developing pretty modestly. I could play c4 or maybe knight b3, but I don't like putting my knight on b3 particularly. It has to go somewhere. Really tough simul yesterday. That was extremely difficult. You're unbanned. Cocaine salesman. No, you probably just created a new account. I don't know if I banned you. How would you get unbanned without me unbanning you? So, maybe you were just timed out, cocaine salesman, at some point. Or maybe one of the moderators banned you and unbanned you. Would anyone suggest the Alekhine's defense rather than Sicilian? I think it's a bad idea for anyone under like 1800. It's a kind of advanced opening. I wouldn't really recommend it, you know, until you master like a more kind of straightforward, you know, more classical type of opening. I think Sicilian is like hyper modern enough, you know, until you get to a relatively intermediate level. I don't know. I mean, it's just my opinion, but you can experiment with it, but I still think you're better off playing something more classical. Some kind of solid Sicilian, maybe. Alright, we're going to be playing Blitz and Classical today. Black is already... I like Black's position. I'm very pessimistic about my own game, usually, which is a kind of self-survival instinct. That's something I developed as a survival instinct. Being pessimistic about my own position makes me more conscious of defense. But I like the way he has a pawn in the center, you know, and I don't. That's more fundamental for showing a roll. I played c3. He's played e5. I mean, e5's got to be better than c3. This is basically like a passive move for me. I mean, it's a minor thing, but not a lot of time. Owlet says I do the Philidor. The Philidor, it's a classical opening, you know, e4, e5. I think that's excellent for anybody under 1800 to start out with. I started out with Sicilian. It's not, you know, it's not a tragedy. It's definitely harder to master than e4, e5. You're going to struggle with the more hyper modern openings. You're going to struggle a lot, and you're going to find it difficult going. That's why, for the sake of chess history and stuff like that, I think it's good to learn e4, e5 too, maybe first. Okay, 97, nice coordination. I'm thinking about castling queenside here. You could also play Peart style with like b4. That looks insane. All right, never mind. Where am I putting my king, by the way? You know, I'd actually been thinking about castling queenside, but the more I think about it, the more insane it seems like to castle into these like raking bishops. Looks like pretty mental. Try to castle queenside. So you can figure out my plan now. Chess knight 60 is hard. It always seems like the game starts out as a like closed position of some kind. You know, I never really thought about that before I started playing much chess 960, but the randomness of the development of the pieces in the back rank doesn't lead to coordination so easily. So open positions are kind of difficult to come by. The pieces are clumsy to coordinate, and so you don't get these wide open, interesting positions. I don't think that the original, you know, chess configuration is random. You know, it's basically been thought out, you know, as one of the best. configurations for the pieces you get in the game. If you consider castling is added to the rules, the original game of chess had no castling, so it was much harder to get a sharp position early on, I guess. Making the rooks more mobile makes a big difference, and making the king able to get to safety changed the game of chess. I really love the way Troll is coordinated here, though. This is like so awkward for me. I might have to play e4 even. That's bad. Alright. We're going to castle. And I feel like black's better here. It's a minor detail. Black is definitely better. You can take over the center now. Even d5 is a threat, you know. I don't like that very much for me. Welcome everyone. You guys are subscribers. For the most part, can play first. Knight to d5 is a former subscriber. I'm going to give him a free game here. Mule Skinner, and then well, the rest of you guys are not subscribers as far as I know. We don't have too many subscribers yet. We'll try to play in order with the rest of the challengers. Clyders, Chess Armageddon, and Arthur. When I used to play chess in the cafe, I would charge like $2 a game. We should do the same here. You guys just play, you know, pay like basically one subscription to Twitch. No, that's 2 games. Prices have gone up. I'd make more money in the chess cafe, but no chess cafes in Budapest. Kind of sad. Spinal Tap, what's up, man? Mayhem in the Moro Monday. Spinal Tap. What's up, buddy? You playing any chess yourself these days? I really want to play b4, but he's got this stupid knight a4 threat, which is extremely awkward to meet. Maybe I should just go ahead and play e4. The c4 square is vulnerable to invasion. Maybe it's not the end of the world. It looks like Mr. Troll and Roll is going to castle queenside here, or trying to do so. Maybe we have like a Richard Rapport knight maneuver, something like here. He loves to play knight b4. Hungarians losing a crushing match against Ukraine. Almaty just unrecognizable in the last match against Martin Kravtsev. Almaty, I don't even know what happened. It was like awful. Losing with black in a weird declined Berlin defense. Just a disaster. So the Hungarians look like they're not even going to make the medals in after beating Russia a few rounds ago. Sigh. Poor them. Alright, Troll and Roll. I'm in worse time pressure than you here. I've got to get some central control. Some semblance of central control, but this is risky for many reasons. My king looks sketchy. I don't like this position at all. This drops a pawn, right? Can I ever do b4? Man, this is awful. This is awful for me. Troll and Roll with a perfect position. Literally perfect. How can your position be so perfect, Troll? Literally every piece is like perfectly placed. 1666? Just because he loses on time every game. He plays perfectly, then loses on time. I'm like positionally lost here. Because I made like one inaccuracy or something in the opening. This looks horrendous. Here go calling a Chester. Said flip sink. Can you clarify that statement, please? Flip sink says, here go calling a Chester. Good spelling, too. A Chester's like a jester, right? There was this hustler in New York City who he called it the jester, and he would move it like a knight and a bishop. It was worth 5 points of material. So what are you saying exactly, flip sink? Because you're on my stream so much. You know, we're good friends. You're a regular contributor here to the chat. Got everything protected. Now we're actually better. We're very lucky. Yeah, dude, I'm calling Troll on a Roll a cheater. He's played on my stream, let's see, 30 games. Obviously, I think he's a cheater. It's better that you just watch. The pawn diamond here, very powerful. We've got to watch my center, though. Barely keeping him out of these squares. Everything's protected with the Korchnoi rook, laterally defending. His knight is starting to get trapped now, so he has to be careful with like a6 or c6. Yeah. Now what? Now we have a problem. I'm going to have to take. Alright, there goes that. Central pawn. A4, rook c2. I'm not sure this is good. I'm going to lose on time to Troll. Okay, I take on c6. Ah, that's unclear. I've got to take there. Damn, Troll. You found the one line that's kind of messy. Oh. He had rook. He didn't have rook check. Oh my gosh. That's a miracle. Is this even good? I'm so lucky he didn't have rook c1 check because of knight there covering it. But still it's unclear. Troll's getting faster. Why did you resign? You just lost on time. No trolling or I will ban you from the stream. I've got no moderator, so I don't have a lot of tolerance today. Knight to d5, Mule Skinner, Clyders, Chess Armageddon, Arthur. Not too many subscribers, a lot of random guys today. Knight to d5, I would really appreciate if you resubscribe. You don't have to get a job, just, you know, go steal some money from your friend's piggy bank or something. All right, let's go e4. All right, what are we gonna do? e5. I wanted to play more e5. Why is everyone calling everyone out? They're just being trolls. I don't think everybody's calling everybody out. It wasn't an innocuous comment, dude. There was this constant undercurrent of people, like, you know, making streamers feel bad for, like, you know, being suspicious of people that are really cheating, you know, and I'm tired of it. Why don't you guys try playing, and it's going to make you paranoid to the point where you're basically thinking a lot of people are cheating. It's a really tricky situation, so just try to be sympathetic to that. And I really don't appreciate when people are doing that. You know, oh, another person, he said everybody's cheating. Who, you know, it's bullshit. I mean, I'm very sensitive about it. I don't want to hear it. You know, I try to be cool about not accusing everyone of being computers. But the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of them. Every chess site tries to manage it, but it's really, really nasty and annoying to constantly have to fear everybody you're playing is a computer, you know. So try living like that, you know, for a while, and then the people that are like the skeptics are just pissing you off, you know. It's just, the King's Gambit is not what I wanted to see. All right, it's kind of like denial of like, you know, poker sites being rigged and stuff, you know. The people that claim that poker sites are rigged-tards, you know, it doesn't exist. I mean, corruption is everywhere, and it's ridiculous to deny it. I mean, they're like paid internet trolls. Anyway, that's enough venting for today. I'm gonna be just focusing on the chess today, not the trolls. Taking the queen on d2. Negative 2.0. What queen on d2? Troll in a roll, what are you talking about? Where is there a queen on d2 to take? Last game. I had this game the other day with white. It's becoming like a bulletin board discussion on my chat stream here. Why would you care if it's a computer or not? Because it's like banging your head on a cement wall. That's why, dude. I wouldn't play chess anymore if I had to play with chess computers. They're that good, you know. So I can't even draw with a single program anymore. Like 20 years ago, you could actually play with engines and it would be competitive and interesting. But now playing computers, it's so impossible that even like Magnus Carlsen would hopelessly lose every single match he played. So why would you ever want to play with a chess computer, you know? It's like, why would chess would lose all point and stop to be fun at all, because we as humans can't compete with computers. It's like obvious, you know. I mean, the game ceases to be interesting or fun if you play with computers. That's the whole point. Yeah, but the problem with that, they just keep coming back with new accounts. I really think that lichess should limit the amount of, like, you know, accounts that different ISPs can create, but it's not my call, you know. I don't know how easy it is to actually implement that, you know. It's just a constant struggle. Bishop c4, I'm done with discussion of computers today. It's like talking about like Russian trolls or something on a CNN bulletin board. Bishop c4. I guess we just go bishop d6. Yeah, I guess you can easily change your IP. But I'm not sure that, like, okay, I mean, it's not like they're terrorists, you know. It's not like people who cheat in internet chess are like gonna like go to the trouble of constantly changing their IP every time that lichess bans them. I mean, it's not like they're doing illegal business on the internet or something really important, that they're going to go to that much trouble. You would certainly cut it down, you know. But yeah, of course they can. They can hide their IP address if they want to go to the trouble of doing that. There's no way to like prevent it altogether. But I still think there should be a rule in place. Like the FICS, the first free internet chess server, has basic fundamental rule that you can only have one account at a time. I think that's not a bad kind of rule to lay down in general. Maybe there are exceptions for titled players or something, but I think that would be a good place to start. You know, just make it generally you're only supposed to have one account. All right, D3 here. We've got takes and rook e8, which looks pretty strong. I don't have a second account. You know, some days I'm like, I really wish I did. We're just winning. It's really close. Knight g4. Knight g4, knight d1. We also have bishop takes f4. Yeah, this move doesn't help white. I mean, what can he play here? He has to move his king. So I guess king f1. Black has compensation for the sacrificed pawn, obviously. Bishop takes f4, knight d1. Bishop takes e3, knight takes e3, knight g4. Should win a piece. I'm just making sure. Because I've been known to miss some things here. Gladys Troll has 100 accounts. I mean, you could take your statement, Bob, and like apply it to everything, you know? Oh, the US government reacts so strongly to mass shootings. They let it like distract them from everyday business, you know? I mean, it's like, yeah, I do react strongly because it's going to ruin the game, dude. I mean, that's the thing, you know? Eventually, it's just going to kill the game completely. I guess I should just take and play knight g4. But if I do that, he would get the castle. Bishop takes, knight g4, castles. That's all good. Okay, this is just a piece up. We're talking about different things now. You're talking about trolls, or are you talking about computers? Because they are different things. I consider people to be like cheating with computers to be different from trolls per se. You know, the trolls we can live with, but people using computers will slowly destroy chess. I think that there should be a distinction made between the two. Not the same thing, Bob. The computers will destroy the game. Trolls we can live with. Now, how much material we have here for the queen? If he sacrifices the queen, plenty. I mean, it's really just a matter of time till computers destroy chess, I guess, sadly. You know, that's people using them to play like here online is just a kind of symptom, you know, not the disease. It's sort of like it's like an unpreventable disease. Everyone has seen it on the horizon like for a very long time. I mean, we knew that chess, the game of chess, would be solved by computers probably like 40 years ago. Yeah, you've improved according to the computer, thanks to the computer, of course, but the computer has been steadily ruining the game all the time you've been improving. I've been improving too, but sadly, I'm afraid chess is going to have to change completely. I mean, you know, it's happening very slowly, but there will come a time when maybe we can't even have tournaments anymore over the board. Everyone will have like a Google Glass where they can access a chess computer, you know, when they just like program their own thoughts into it or something. I mean, it's really just the writing is on the wall. I don't mean to be like, you know, a naysayer, but that's the fact of life. I mean, chess will just kind of like be like nobody wants to play that anymore because it's just everyone's a computer, you know. But maybe we'll all be computers in like 100 years. So who knows? Maybe it won't matter. We all become computers, like Blade Runner or something. That's the future, I guess. Over the board chess will have to be like what is now correspondence chess. We're all just like centaurs. Half computer, half human. That's the future of chess, I guess. It's all doom and gloom. It is, basically. We might as well enjoy the last, you know, the last few years of human chess while we've got it. Go out and play in a tournament. We've only got a few years left before everybody's a computer. Alright, I'm playing blitz and classical chess here. It's 5+3 through 7+3. I have way too many challengers. We're going to try to play the subscribers first. I've got, let's see, Melody Marathon, Macros, Melody Marathon, and Muleskin are all at the bottom. No, as long as I'm not like really tired, I can deal with the trolls, but I think the future of chess is a bigger question. H6. No back rank mates. We're just up a piece. Knight to d5 earlier was asking about Alekhine's defense, you know, if he should play it. And, you know, I think the King's Gambit falls in the same extreme opening category. I think it's better to play something more classical until you get up to like 1800. But if you're just in the game for fun, you know, you don't care about your rating and you just want to have fun, then by all means, like, play whatever you want. But I think if you're trying to improve quickly, if you have, you know, a program where you want to get better as fast as possible, improve your rating, I would definitely play more classical openings. Chess Pro challenged me to a Blumenfeld Gamut thematic game. Yeah, that's fine. On Play Chess, you know, Chess Base's chess site, they're called centaurs. I mean, Play Chess created Fritz and some of the best chess programs, so the human chess computer hybrids are called centaurs. I know what a centaur is, like in the folktale sense. Yeah, white is pretty hopelessly lost here. Might as well snack some more pawns. Guess I should just trade pieces. It's not very exciting. There's a strange noise outside my apartment. It sounds like someone's like mowing the grass or something. It's a very strange sound to hear on the top floor of a building. All right, knight to d7. Just trading queens. Taking the fun out of life for white here. Maybe the most expedient way to win. I could definitely see playing it out in a non-increment game, but white, you know, should just resign here. There's no chance to win on time. All right, thank you. So next up is our first subscriber, Macros42, playing anything between 5+3 and 7+3. E4. Yeah, I wanna keep pursuing this E4 E5 a little bit. Something different. I usually play the Sicilian, sometimes other stuff, but E4 E5. Yeah, I want to get some Spanish games. Yesterday I had a good game against Clash Kid, but Bishop C4 it's actually gained a lot in popularity because the Berlin defense. I don't know how Zoltan Amashi lost on the black side of the Berlin defense yesterday. He went too far. But it's like if you're playing in a team tournament, you gotta like chill out. You know, you can't play like a maniac. I mean, he basically cost the Hungarian team this match against Ukraine, playing kind of like berserk with the black pieces. It should have just been like play solid, make a draw. Like, I don't understand. All right. I find it very difficult playing team games. You know, you've got to put more pressure on yourself. It's not just you; it's the other players on the team that are counting on you. You know. Okay, I don't know if I've ever played the. What is this? I don't know. What do we call this variation anyway? I know that like that's the fried liver, but the variation with knight a5, for some reason I want to attribute that to like Chigorin, but I'm actually not sure who it's attributed to. This is not Sprite. It's something else. It's not alcoholic either. Sprite tastes bad in Europe. Has anybody else noticed that? It's you know, this is coming from someone who lived the majority of my life in North America, but the Sprite in Hungary, at least, it has a very strange taste. It tastes like chemical taste. I don't get it, man. All right, Bishop A4, highly unusual move. What's up with that? You're supposed to play Bishop E2 Bishop d3, bishop e2, or bishop f1 for the most part. I guess queen f3 is a move. Nigel Short has played, I think, even queen f3, but what's the deal with bishop a4? Thought there was something wrong with that move. Oh, because of, well, bishop g4 at some point. h6. Yeah, I don't know. The sprite has a very bad taste. The Hungarian sprite. h6. What am I supposed to do here? Bishop g4. Right away. f3. Queen d4 is another weird move that can be played in some moment, but he just has c3 then. I wish I just knew this cold. If I was a normal e4, e5 player, I would just have it memorized. Maybe bishop c5 is possible as well. h6, knight f3, e4, knight e5. I mean, I don't know. Neighbors are banging on the wall again. They're constructing a whole apartment on the next building. Last week it really pissed me off because I was supposed to record 2 videos on Tuesday. I set the time aside, and only on that day they were like banging and making like all kinds of noise. I was so happy. When I was hungry, that the candy was disgusting. When you were in Hungary, when you were a kid, well, I have no idea how old you are. Is that like post-1990 or pre-1990? 5-card draw. Post-communist or pre-communist era? I came to Hungary for the first time in 1996. But the cola, like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, taste okay, but the Sprite is really weird. All right, h6. I'm going to look this up after the game, obviously. I know bishop a4 isn't right, but I'm not sure. h6, knight f3, e4, knight e5, queen d5. And then he has to defend his knight, but he's got some moves to do it. So I'm not even certain that I even made the right move there with the h6. Bishop g4, d3, at the very least he has. e4, knight e5, queen d5, and then I'll just take en passant whatever. And g2 will be hanging in some lines. I hope. I mean, anybody that I play in this variation, let's say Macros is 1700, I mean 1700 or above, I would hope, well, he's actually lower in Blitz, but I would hope that they would know this variation better than me, because I don't really know it, not being an e4, e5 player. I don't really know the theory beyond move 9. Okay, in the bishop f1 and bishop e2, I know better than this, but I should know this. Bishop a4 is a really rare move, but still. It's probably something you would encounter all the time, you know. It's like a typical sideline that people would play over the board. I don't know what the theoretical status of the other lines is. After e takes d5, knight d4, and b5 are also, you know, playable as far as I know. Wow, queen e2. That makes sense. Or does it? Well, d3 would be the, and knight c3 would be the next installment. There are all kinds of weird ideas here. Queen b6 and bishop a6. Queen b6. Queen b6, d3, bishop a6. Maybe I should just play bishop e6. Bishop e6, knight e5. That's super weird. Bishop e6, knight e5, huh? Then queen d5. Or even queen d4 is possible. Queen d4, bishop takes c6 check, knight takes c6, knight takes c6, and then his knight is trapped on c6, or is it? Maybe it's not trapped. He has like queen a6 saving it. I can't believe that actually works, but it might. I'm actually looking at knight e5, queen d4, bishop takes c6 check, knight takes, queen c5, queen a6, bishop c8, and then he has some really perverse move like b4 or something. b4, queen d5, knight c3. There's some crazy possibilities. If I play queen to d5, he can protect the knight directly with the pawn move. And life is not so simple. That's why I thought queen d4. We gotta find something here, though. Well, I mean, at the very least, I have compensation for a pawn, and I'm only down 2. So worst case scenario, I'll be down a pawn worth of material without enough compensation or something. Does that make sense? Well, queen d5, he could play f4, or I'm not sure. Maybe you're right. Maybe queen d5 was a better move. I don't know. He could play f4 though, in that position, and it's not clear what my next move is after that. Yeah, this is, I assumed this was forced. And now for our next trick, we have to choose the right square for the queen. But if I go to b6, he has knight back to e5. Okay, I have all sorts of possibilities. We have massive development to compensate. Oh no. But I should have a move here, no? this. This doesn't even work. Oh man. Just losing. I couldn't find a move for black. Maybe it's all a refutation. I don't know. There's no move for me there. Just losing a piece. We have a little bit of vague compensation, but it's not enough. I have no idea. It feels like against all my instincts that this should have worked for white. He's totally behind in development. Just doesn't seem right. Like he's violating all sorts of principles. I'm just down 2 pawns with insufficient compensation. Insufficient. It's definitely insufficient. We have compensation for 1 pawn, but not for 2. You know, maybe we can find a little more compensation somewhere. So this move isn't gonna do it. Damn, dude. Thought I had rook takes c1, but then he has knight takes d4. It's like ridiculous. Every time I get close to something, he just stops it. Now again, I have only compensation for 1 pawn. Some drawing chances here. White probably made some small mistakes there. He could theoretically lose, but he shouldn't. I mean, up 2 pawns. White should have a draw, you know, at will, basically. He'll give 1 pawn back to break my initiative and then just draw. This is probably a draw. I mean, I've got too much pressure. He could lose now, though. He should have played bishop e3, neutralizing my bishop. Now it's just, well, he had to play king f1 there. So, a very unconvincing game by me. I'm curious about the opening. How far do we actually follow any kind of known line? Bishop a4. Is opening book turned off? Dude, are you kidding me? There's not 1 game with bishop a4? That's insane. How is that possible that there's not 1 master game with bishop a4? It's not even that bad of a move. Alright. Anyway, h6, knight f3, e4. Queen e2 is only move, it looks like. And then it's hard to find the best. I played bishop e6. Supposedly bishop c5, according to the engine's better. Queen d4 is best. Damn, dude, this is like best play. Bishop takes, knight takes, queen b5. And now I erred. I definitely didn't see this idea of rook c8 and knight takes c6, queen c5 the engine's talking about. I mean, I'm not getting my piece back, you know. I'm down 2 pawns here. But this move was definitely not on the radar. Apparently this wins. Damn, dude, bishop c5. That makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, but I'd never find that in a blitz game. Queen takes c6, king to e7, queen b7 check, and then... Oh my god. That's insane. Best move, king d6. Alright, anyway, like, this is stuff that we have to analyze for some obscure chess magazine. I don't know. This is a crazy variation. I can't believe that there's no games in the lichess opening explorer. No master games that have ever been played. This is like one of the oldest openings in existence. I think we have to go to chess base and we'll have to go to the chess base and find this solution here from some old games that are not in the opening explorer. Melody Marathon is up next. Then Mule Skinner and the rest of the non-subscribers. Oh, you're challenging me to it. Okay. I thought you were talking about a correspondence game, Melody Marathon, when you said you wanted to play this position. But that's cool. All right. This is a new idea, new concept. We can play, yeah, why not? Cool. Cool idea. Jesus Christ. So... This is a variation that I've been studying, but nobody on lichess knows how to play the 4th move of the Blumenfeld Gambit with white pieces. I guess I just haven't played high enough rated players, but still. Opening theory has not as much importance as ultra bullet on lichess. So d6, and there are a lot of possibilities for white here, but e4 is by far the main line. Alekhine played like a4 in a simultaneous in 1929 in Argentina. Knight d2 is a move that, well, it might transpose to a different line, but it's not usually played. The older variations of the Blumenfeld involve black playing like queen a5, but I don't think those lines are really trustworthy. I'm basically trying to prove that this opening is 100% viable for black. Now bishop d3. Knight takes d5, pawn takes d5, bishop takes g5. Or you can castle, but in that case, it's more playable. I guess he has nothing here. He just lost a pawn. Normally there's like some sort of tricks or something, but here I'm just bringing my bishop back. So I don't think he really has any tricks. We just kind of sniped a pawn, so black should be clearly better. He's supposed to play a4. You know, to get counterplay on the queen side. That's kind of a key part, a component of white's strategy. in these lines. Normally people team up the Blumenfeld with the Benko, don't they? 5-card draw, I don't know why, you know. I mean, it's just a different opening. If anything, I would team up the Blumenfeld with the Benoni, probably. But they're all, like, interrelated, of course. The Benko is 100% viable. I mean, the Benko is like a legitimate positional gambit. I mean, it's not even like a normal gambit. It's not like... It's a long-term pawn sacrifice. I mean, the Benko will never be refuted, you know. I mean, it's not like it's some kind of Mora gambit or something. I mean, it's just a strategic pawn sacrifice that can never be counted out, basically. Okay, let's see. Knight d7 followed by knight f6. How does that sound? Developing a piece rather than weakening my kingside unnecessarily. I'm going to vote for developing a piece rather than making a weakening pawn move if I have to be given a choice. The Benko is like probably the greatest quote-unquote gambit in chess theory. I mean, it's just a purely sound strategic pawn sacrifice. You can have compensation going into the endgame in the Benko. Rook endgames are like drawing down a pawn in the Benko. So in the last game, bishop c5. What is that? Yeah, bishop c5 was the key move. Now knight g5. He's going totally caveman. All right, now let's see. No sense just harassing his queen for no reason here. I could consider the strange move queen a5, pinning his knight on d2. It's kind of the word of yesterday. Awkward for white. But I suppose he could try something weird like a3 and b4. It feels a little artificial to play queen a5. Of course I can just castle. I mean, castle's like the soundest move for black here. These pieces are pretty actively placed. I wonder if I have better. Bishop b7, focusing on this d5 pawn. He's coming with knight e4 at some point. You know, so I'm not actually going to be threatening to take that pawn. Bishop b7, knight e4, h6. Yeah, that's what I expected. Now h6 looks okay. I also have queen a5 check, which could kind of mess up his coordination. Force him to play king f1 at any moment. But this isn't, you know, this isn't good for white. He's making the best out of a bad position where he lost a pawn. The fashions are always changing about openings like the Benko, but I don't think it's ever like gonna be like unplayable or something. Not a trendy opening at the moment, at least not at the top level, for whatever reason. I mean, usually there's always some different fashionable line that people are playing. But I would imagine that the Benko is always sound. This week it's something, next week it'll be something else that they're afraid of. Even Kasparov played the Benko. There are a lot of ways for white to try to approach it. That's one of the hardest things about playing the Benko. I think that white has so many different setups. Tomorrow night I have a viewer tournament. I think we're going to do like 7+2 longer games this week. We've done kind of fast time controls. We've been doing kind of fast time controls the last couple of viewer tournaments, 7 p.m. on Tuesday nights. So we'll make it a little bit slower this week. Put your bishops on the long diagonals and take things like the Ginsu knives. It's not a bad general strategy. His king is still vulnerable. Throw in the check on a5 to cause him some discomfort. I also have bishop takes b2, maybe, but it's dangerous. Like, for example, knight e4, bishop takes b2, queen e2. Maybe I can just take the rook on a1. I mean, the safest move is, I don't know, castles probably. Then he has something weird, queen f5. Oh my god. I could even lose on that. Not the safest move. Queen a5 check. The safest move, I guess, is queen a5 check followed by bishop e7. Bishop takes b2, queen e2. Queen a5 check. King f1. And then what? That's dangerous for me. So, I mean, bishop e7 seems like the logical thing to do. I could even castle queenside. Queen a5 check, king f1, bishop e7, rook e1. It's not so easy. It's hard to actually choose a move here. But that plan looks like an attacking setup for white, allowing him to do that. How about something like bishop e5? Castle, castle. I don't know, I just sort of chose this at the last possible moment. I mean, I have bishop takes d5, which would force opposite colored bishops up 2 pawns. It's certainly not bad for me. How strong it is, I'm not really sure. There's the queen f5 thing, but now I have g6 against that. Which is kind of why I mean, that's actually why I played bishop e5. So everything would be protected. We could even play f5 maybe. But it's still going to be hard. Maybe I should take the pawn on b2, actually. It looks like a closed Sicilian now. Redeployment. I've got the classic Benoni maneuver, rook a7. It's like a King's Indian Benoni. There's no way that white should be okay here. Basically sack the house. Well, my bishop is going to hang in some lines. And that was not where I expected him to go. I keep forgetting I have a rook on a7. It's a lot of pawns to sacrifice. Just keeps coming up with move after move. Surprised I haven't missed something yet. Maybe there's like a stalemate or something. I wonder if I was ever in trouble here at some point. That was an extremely long game. It seems like it lasted 20 minutes. 18 minutes ago. So that was That was when the challenge was posted. Damn, dude, that was like the longest game of all time. I was challenged 18 minutes ago by Melody Marathon. 7+3 max. How many moves was it? 47 moves. It felt like 800. Okay, anyway. College try. Mule Skinner. Then we'll go to the non-subscribers. I had a mate. Gladys Troll, thanks for that, man. You're usually off after 25 minutes. Troll just leaves after his game. He's a really good, he's a really good supporter of the stream. He just comes to play a game and then he leaves. Alright. We are playing at Mule Skinner. We have 128 games against this man. Of course, you guys, they beat me all the time. I'm very human. I've been fortunate today. Did he beat you in one of them? Said Sleepy Marrow. You mean Troll? I think Troll has won a game against me. At least one. Probably more than one. Mule Skinner, why are you doing this? Thinking for so long here. Oh no. What is that? It's like a Kopech did this to me in a banter game on US Chess Live like 20 years ago. It wasn't 20 years ago, but it seems like it. It must have been around 2001. Okay, so that's 16 years ago. Bishop f5. I'll never forget it because people don't play this opening, and Kopech was an IM. I was like, okay, what's that? You will occasionally see this in blitz. Most commonly encountered by a different order of moves, I guess. How would it normally go, actually? Well, black would play knight f6. I would take on d5. They would take with a knight. I would play like knight f3, then bishop f5. That's how Kopech did it. This will transpose after knight takes d5. I guess you could play queen takes d5. That's a weird move. I saw something similar to that the other day, which shouldn't really be right for black, but no, you don't have to have a certain rating to play. Generally, the lower rated players are afraid to play, because they'll get their head handed to them, and nobody likes to lose in front of a lot of other people. But I don't restrict, the possibility of playing to only the higher rated players. So this is my game with Danny. Dr. Danny Kopech was an American IM who tried to make himself famous by naming the system e4 c5, knight f3 followed by bishop d3 after himself. But he was like a computer science professor at Brooklyn College or something, I don't know. He played this weird opening against me in a game 16 years ago online. Knight f6, why not? Now, queen b3, queen c8. And I had some idea about this position. I'd analyzed this once, and I'm trying to remember. Queen b3, queen c8, e4. Knight takes e4. Knight takes e4. Bishop takes e4. Knight g5. Is that right? I think so. I'm supposed to play this. This is a very obscure opening. The Chess Informator or Chess Encyclopedia of years ago recommended this move, knight on 5 bd2. I recall this was a direct recommendation from the book. But after that, like, theory is really kind of non-existent here. I looked at this with the engine. Kopech played queen c8 against me and drew the game. I think it was a draw years ago, somehow much later on. But it was just an online game, not an official rated game. It was like a 30-minute banter game where we were like commentating. Muleskinner sacking the pawn on b7, which is a totally new approach. If I grab the pawn, he has to play knight on bd7, and then the question is, does he have any sort of, how much compensation does he have, let's say? You know, it shouldn't really be enough. But there are other possibilities for me too. You know, I could delay it, play something like g3. Queen takes, knight bd7. My queen is kind of out of play. Then I guess queen c6, rook b8 or something, e3, bishop b4, bishop e2. It's hard to believe that black has enough compensation here. But personally, I don't really like taking material and having to just hold on to it, you know, passively. It's not my favorite mode of operation. Some chess players love grabbing pawns and then like going and putting them in a pile of bones, like a dog collecting treats or something. I don't really like that style of play, personally. The other option is g3, though. Maybe g3 deserves consideration. g3, rook b8, queen a6, bishop g2. I don't get two moves in a row. g3, rook b8, queen a6, or queen c6. Yeah, maybe this is more solid. I don't know. A more solid kingside type of formation. You know, taking a second pawn on a7 is really risky. What happened now? My moderator is in the hospital, or he was. Our temporary moderator. I think I'm the only moderator here today. Not again. Childish troll. They're usually either neo-Nazis or sexual perverts for some reason. People with issues. Why they're attracted to chess streams, I don't really understand. There's also the occasional teenager who's probably just messing around and not necessarily mentally ill. All right. We've got our pawn, and our development is a little bit. Our development is a little awkward here. My favorite word of the week. But our king is safe. That's really beneficial. King safety is one of the most important principles in the opening. Often overlooked People just say the center, development, material, space. But I think that king safety is in the top 5 principles that should be adhered to. First of all, I have to be careful about my queen not getting trapped or caught in like a perpetual check type of situation. My original plan was to play queen c6, but I don't think that was the best because I didn't have a retreat back to c2 anyway. Probably I should try to get my queen back through like a4 and d1. Or I can just play queen b3 straight up here. But queen b3 like might have a tactical problem. Tactical, I'm trying to say. While my enunciation may not be the best at times. Mule Skinner has compensation. I like this, man. You're playing in a spirited gambit style. Interesting approach. What do I do? He's going to take on d4, then he's going to have knight c5 at some point. Okay, I think we might be okay. We play there, 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 there. I hope my queen doesn't get trapped. Okay, it's not so easy to trap it here. I've always got retreats back like this, or maybe laterally sometimes. Kind of a fast time control now. I like the a+3, but we just didn't get to play that many games with the a+3. Last game was 18 minutes long, because Melody Marathon and I played on increment for so long. It was like 47 moves or more. So the 7+3 can last pretty long as well. If we're playing 18-minute games, I mean, how many can we play in a 2.5-hour stream? Like 10 games max, less than that. Like 9. Eight, not even. You ordered weighted pieces for my chess set that are not weighted. Oh man. Well, I mean, any decent chess set should be, the pieces should be weighted to some degree. Rook c8. This is getting more and more difficult. Gonna lose on time soon at this rate. Is my queen really ever trapped? Yes. Mule Skinner is a genius. My queen extremely awkward here. Perfect development by black. I have no clue what to do. I'm just gonna freak out and make a totally random move. Trying to change the dynamic of the situation. Basically gave the pawn back. I'm an anti-materialist. So much for that theory. Wow, dude. All right. Got a good outpost. Can't trap my queen. Really principled play by Muleskinner, and very fast too. I thought he had 94 last move. I said last move. He reminds me of Aldous, though, another guy who I play a lot on my stream. Played a similar style of game against me very recently. Not sure if this blockading strategy was the right idea, but I feel good that he actually took it. He actually had queen e6 last move, which was kind of awkward. I might have had to weaken myself. It was stronger the previous move. Still might not be bad, though. Now we should be winning. Kind of like a rook. That queen is active on d1. Oh man. Another incredible fighting game from Muleskinner. I was under pressure throughout. So there's only two games, one from 1975. I played a guy from El Salvador named Acevedo. I don't know if it's the same guy. So you're the first to gambit this pawn. Pretty inspired pawn sacrifice, Muleskinner. Although we'll check in chess base. I guess e4 is a critical question. I was afraid of rook b8 and rook b6 if I try to play e4, but I forgot I have just bang, bang, back. Queen c6 right away. There were better ways for me to play this. Bob is our next subscriber. And then I think we're done with subscribers. We'll have time for like 2 more games. I guess that answers that question. That person is the same person. The mentally disturbed. He's the sexual pervert and the Nazi at the same time. I was wondering if they were the same person. You know, that makes it easier if I can just get rid of him. We'll get rid of both problems at once. Well, we could just report him to Twitch. Hopefully they'll do something about it. His ISP. We know how that works. How easy it is. Talking about accounts on lichess, stopping computer cheating. I'm sure it's just as difficult. You basically can't get rid of these losers. But just ignore them. So King's Indian, Bob. Bob, you played a strange King's Indian against me yesterday with like e6. Bishop a3 would have won the exchange? Seriously? Yeah, because he didn't have... Yeah, I guess I hallucinated he had knight c5. That was impossible because my queen was on a7. I was in pretty bad time pressure with... what is this, a Grunfeld? We'll transpose to the Grunfeld. Whatever. Probably the best move is just like c takes d. With d5, I'm transposing to a Grunfeld. Yeah, yes, last game I had like 10 seconds when I played... What was it? Instead of playing bishop a3, I did something else. My plan was to play bishop a3, then I got distracted and thought the other move was even strong. Okay, Bob, now you're supposed to take on c5 here. This is kind of strange in a sense, you know, giving up your strong center. But that's the way these variations work. The same in the Queen's Gambit when the bishop comes out to f4. You basically have to pay a price for this queenside development and abandon your center now. That's the way it's supposed to be done. Not to say this is lost for white or horrible or something. It's just that white loses any chance for an opening advantage here. I don't think that you're worse necessarily. But technically you've lost, you know, if you look at like the chess engine, it'll probably say equal 0.0, or maybe even black is microscopically better now due to pawn structure. Yeah, this is the safe move. I'm not really sure what the best for me is, but we just kind of restrict these pieces. We'll send them back with b5, maybe threaten to fork the white pieces with e5 at some point. White is probably still equal the way he played it, but he loses his opening advantage. Okay, it's not so bad. There are other moves I could have played. You could simply play like knight to c6. I mean, it's just that that's a little bit like more simplifying. You know, this way I keep some pieces on the board if I want to try to win. Maybe I have more potential. Going with the extended fianchetto, I could also play maybe knight bd7, but eventually I'm going to have to fianchetto my bishop. It's a strong diagonal. There is the possibility of knight h5 at times in such positions, but my concern is that he has like bishop g5, and I can't actually track it down. And the other thing is that the bishop's kind of a target where it stands. So we don't have to chase pieces for the sake of chasing them. I think that's a big mistake that a lot of people make. We missed queen takes c8 on move 14. What was on c8? Neil Skinner. What? Your rook was hanging? I don't understand, Neil Skinner. Was your rook hanging for a minute? How in the world did your rook become emprise? I can't remember the game now. It's just gone through one ear and out the other. But solid, Bob. You couldn't play much more solid than this today. Bob is inconsistent. Like one game he seems to play extremely well, and then the next game he'll just like drop a piece or something. This is typical of people who like start late in life. I don't know if that's the case with you, Bob, but there was a book on chess psychology by the Soviet Grandmaster Nikolai Krogius, and one of his big theories with, well, not only Krogius, others, I think, was that late starters tend to blunder more. Anyway, I don't know what to do here. I started earlier this year. You started earlier this year. You became 1700 in 1 year. That's got to be close to a world record. Well, surely, like, you know how the pieces moved or something. Well, you're not 1700, but still. What do you mean by started, exactly? He's played this game perfectly. Okay, watching my stream will probably help people. That's the point. If he can incorporate what I'm doing into his own game, he understands things like he doesn't want to have an isolated pawn. But so this, yeah, I mean, he's obviously FIDE 1600 or something. This is a perfectly solid game thus far. But we do see occasional, you know, everybody blunders, but the players who start later have a tendency to never get over that like one move blunder type of thing. Hey Soltiga, what's up, man? We've got lots of trolls for you today. So you only have half an hour to banish them. I've been working overtime. We had a very nasty person. What are we going to do now? Perfect placement of the queen on e2. Every single piece. He's basically played a perfect game, except for that inaccuracy in the opening. This is like one itty-bitty inaccuracy. His only flaw here. Bishop on a2 is easy to forget about. It's extremely dangerous. You know, therefore I don't know if I want to play e5 necessarily at any point, you know, to keep the ability to shut that piece out with e6 is probably beneficial for black. On the other hand, I don't really know what to do, per se. Rook fd8 is kind of like a... It almost feels like a mistake. It's so robotic. And there's nothing going on in that file. Weakens f7 as well. So I don't know. But my other candidate moves were like queen a7, queen a8 maneuver. Another possible maneuver is bishop a8, queen b7, trying to use the long diagonal. Of course, rook fd1. And now what? I guess knight c5. But I'm not sure what my forward plan is here. This feels a little too routine. Play rook fd8. He can actually play, well, b4, knight e4. So I don't really like my position that much. I regret playing the structure the way I did. Maybe if I had it to do over again, maybe I would just play like knight c6 here. Not release the tension at all. Wait a move. The danger with that is that he changes his mind and takes on c5. Then I have to like take on c4, bishop takes c4, queen a5, and we probably transpose back to theory. So, although his bishop's on the wrong square, I think, on d3 for Grunfeld. His bishop should be on e2 in that line. b4 was risky, weakening the c3 square, possibly giving me the bishop pair. This is the first possible mistake I've seen, but who knows? Maybe I'm missing something tactically. He's got a big weakness at c3. And I'm also threatening to take the bishop on g3, which isn't a big deal, but it would give me like a microscopic advantage in the endgame scenario. This is his bigger problem here, the c3 square. His white square bishop is more valuable. He should probably keep that. Looks like now he blundered a piece. e5. Well, he was like really low on time. Played a good game. I mean, until b4. It's like totally equal. f3. You could also play bishop e5 apparently. But f3 is safe. I think f3 is fine. The computer claims that this is cleaner and like less weakening maybe. I don't know. Alright. We're all out of subscribers, so I'm going to play Drunk Clyders, who's next in line. Got time for 2 games. Is starting chess at 20 considered later in life? I would think so, yeah. Yeah. You know, I started when I was like 11 or 12, 11, which I guess is pretty average. I wasn't a chess prodigy, but I was a little late to be, you know, like a top junior. I made it to like the top 50 list for the US by the time I was like 16 or something, but I never was quite, you know, young enough to have been a top junior. So 20 is definitely late. But there are a few grandmasters who have started that late. I know like the Latvian grandmaster Mitsis, for example, started something like 20. Maybe a little later. Drunk Clyders waited all this time, but he's not here. He's only got 16 games. Alright, I'm going to abort this game. I don't really like playing accounts that are brand new. Tarakus. Tanager, man. Knight from California. So you have no chance of GM. No, I wouldn't say you have no chance of GM. I'm just saying, like, I know Mitsis was like you. He started with 20. and he became a pretty strong GM. There are certainly a lot of people in history who started with 20, but you're just going against the odds, basically. It depends on your station in life. If you have a lot of resources like money and time, I mean, at the end of the day, it probably doesn't make a difference. I mean, it's going to be a little harder, but wealthy people have a better chance of being chess grandmasters than impoverished people, regardless of age. But of course, there are exceptions to every rule. I think the main thing isn't age. It's like your responsibilities increase when you're 20. I mean, that's been my experience. I don't feel like I'm physically too old to become a grandmaster. I just have too many other things going on to focus on it now. Okay, let's just grab the pawn back here. I mean, this is one of the variations. Knight a3 is probably good, because he's going to waste a move on bishop e7 and bishop takes a3, playing that in 2 moves rather than 1. Soltiga, we are here. What's up, man? Ananas. So, Bob says, how do you recommend learning more openings? Ananas made a suggestion. Should you hire me? I don't consider myself an opening authority, but I certainly help a lot of my students with that. Now, knight e5. Seems like the right move here. Try to get like a 2-for-1 sale. Sometimes these sort of things like peter out to a equal position, but he's going to end up with damaged pawns and losing his c4 pawn back. Should be pretty good. Or not. No, I mean, okay. Let's see, I take on c6 rather than d7. Then I take on c4. Ravaging his pawn structure. It's not so simple. This might even be theory. But there I think, you may be making a mistake. Actually, what do I want him to play? Bishop takes. Yeah, I guess, no, it's check. Bishop takes, pawn takes. Yeah, you can't take the other way. Yeah, I don't know what to suggest. Bishop takes c6. He has a little bit of compensation for said pawn. I'm just not sure whether it's more accurate to take this way or take the other way. H5 is interesting. But then bishop takes c6, d7 check. Yeah, h5 would have been interesting, I think. Though this is interesting too. Taricus 1500. It's getting really dynamic here. Rook b8. Similar to my game with Mule Skinner, grabbing a pawn. I thought this move is more active. Rook b4. Here maybe I should consider bishop g2. But he has bishop b5. That's pretty nasty. I don't think I can allow that. But I thought that rook b4 might be better than rook b6. Second time I end up in a game where I'm like grabbing material and I don't really like it. Losing the initiative. But I feel like it's like obligatory. Like against Mule Skinner, it was obligatory. Like it wasn't really like correct, this pawn sacrifice. Mule Skinner made. Man, this is awkward again. Black with compensation for said sacrifice pawn. Definitely. Still has rook b4. There's no concrete threat with that, but I really thought at some point he should like not castle and play h5, h4, because that's a way of like attacking and coordinating his pieces. Is my queen gonna get trapped for real now? It's pretty damn close to it. A little too close for comfort. But I don't really know what to do to stop it from happening. Like a4, a3, b4. He makes a comment. You're not even like really meant to watch the stream while you're playing, but it's okay, dude. All right. Here. I know, he's telling me what to say. It's very polite. Never in like 2 years of streaming has anybody said something like that. It's not Bob. It's a new person. All right. I guess we got to try to get our queen back to home base or something. This doesn't look like a bad move. Queen c2. Not very inspiring. But he's really good and fast for 1500 lichess rating. I'm a little bit concerned. Hopefully we're winning though. It's all relative. I mean, a lot of people, you know, they play one game like they're a grandmaster and the next game like they're 1500. It's possible. That's the way life is. But I think that lichess puts too much emphasis on speed with the new like ultra bullet time control. A lot of absolute beginners think that's like normal. Like that's a normal way to learn chess. It's a kind of bad. I think it's a bad thing that lichess created ultra bullet. It should come with like a warning label or something, you know. If you're a beginner, take care with playing ultra bullet. This is not the way chess is meant to be learned. So I just see so many players who they're just all about fast, but they have no clue what they're doing. That's not the case with Tarukus. He's obviously a competent player, but just it makes me think of that. You know, he's fast. This is a chronic problem on lichess. People focusing too much on being fast and not enough on just playing the best moves. That should be your #1 priority, especially in a game like this where it's like incremental. In a sudden death game, okay, fine. You want to keep like a minute on the clock extra, but you know, in an increment game, now I have d4. Looks pretty strong. In an incremental game, you know, you've got to just really respect the position more than the clock. Still not so easy. It reminds me of playing, he actually is playing exactly like, this move is pretty remarkable actually. He's playing exactly like Lord Jesus Christ from yesterday. Almost identical. quickly he saw rook b2. Like 1500 lichess. I don't know about this. Not the best move. So what's his bullet rating? The same as his blitz. Five plus 3. Material's even now. Don't know how big my advantage is. It's definitely dwindled. But I think these passed pawns are too strong. He seems strong for 1500. Now it's lost for black. But he's got 50 seconds left. Of course, a lot of people don't really know how to use the increment time. You got to get used to it. We have a viewer here named Lord Jesus Christ. I didn't mean like you were Jesus Christ, dude. If you watch the stream regularly, you would see him. All right, we got time for one more game. It's Zargisian. No, Ananas, I've got to play Ananas because he's a subscriber. Alright. Ananas, you are a subscriber, aren't you? This will probably be the last one for today. Sorry to fake out Zargisian, but I have to play my subscribers. Alright. Ananas, you are tough with white and the d4 Catalan type of stuff. He is a subscriber. They are long games, but I sped it up from 8 plus 3 to 7 plus 3. See, Ananas avoids the Blumenfeld by playing g3. I can't play that opening against him. I've played most of my repertoire, and I kind of ran out of things to play. Normally I play this. I've only played really strong players in this position, Igor Foigl and Dmitry Gurevich, which I managed to draw, maybe a few others. But playing for a win with black is awkward with black against this system. Basically, my system is pretty solid. It's like a Bogo Indian. I'm sure we played this before, but I don't remember. I had a weird game with Foigl. Knight f3 transposes to a normal line, but white can play bishop g2, which is like independent from the Bogo Indian. You would think that it would transpose eventually, but he can do other stuff. Maybe I'll just castle. I think against Foigl, I did like knight c6 a couple years ago, which led to a strange game. I don't remember my game with Dmitry Gurevich now. I think we may have transposed to a Bogo at some point. Yeah, that's the thing. You see, he doesn't play knight f3. I don't know what the theoretical status of this is for both sides, to be honest. I mean, it just looks like it's a Bogo Indian-like position where his knight is not on f3. It should be fine for white and black. You know, I guess in some variation where I take on d4 and his knight captures, it could even transpose. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching and subscribing. We'll be back tomorrow night with my viewer tournament. I'm going to do a longer time control this week, like 7+2. Bishop takes d2 check. Knight takes d2. You can think about queen takes d2. You know, I would think that would be... Normally that would be better to keep the c3 square for the knight. But maybe he's going to put his other knight on c3. His other brother. Here I have a4 fixing the queen side. But that sometimes can become like overextended in a target, which I don't really want that to happen, obviously. How much time do I have? a4 knight c3 immediately wouldn't be good for him. He could take on e5 and play knight c3, but then I can protect it. Alright, let's go for it. It's ambitious, but it's nutritious and hopefully healthy for black. Do you find yourself improving, still becoming sharper at chess, or do you feel you're plateaued? A really thoughtful question from Cocaine Master. Depends on what day you ask me, really. Some days I think you know, I'm actually a person who almost didn't play for like 6 or 7 years. Between like 2008 and 2015, I was really almost not playing at all. And so I feel like I lost part of my chess life, in a sense. Considering that my rating, like, stayed at the same level during that whole period where I didn't play practically, just like maybe 7 games a year, as it is now, and I'm like working on chess every single day, it almost seems like I'd have to have improved. You know, my rating is still around the same, like 2370, that it was 5 years ago when I wasn't hardly playing at all. And one would think, like, I've got to have gotten better, you know. But I haven't, you know, haven't seen it in my statistical results yet. But maybe I just don't play enough for that to be, you know, easily seen. It can take a while for your skill to catch up to your rating to catch up to your knowledge or skill level, I guess. So I'm not really sure. It depends on my mood. If I'm feeling depressed, then I think it's hopeless. I'll never get better. Basically, I have the same rating I had 20 years ago. But as I just said, I mean, I kind of like took the best part of 10 years off from playing seriously. So, you know, maybe there's still hope. I try to remain optimistic that I can still improve. Maybe I shouldn't rush here with knight c5 since he's not actually threatening anything. Though I think it's okay. I obviously need to put the knight on c5. I need to mobilize my bishop on c8. And I want to play like c6. c6 is risky in a sense because it weakens d6. You know, my hope is that I still don't have a good answer for you, Cocaine. It's really, my hope is that I can still improve. I'm still improving. I know I can improve my knowledge, but it's possible that my speed of calculation and other stuff has gotten worse. It's really hard to tell. Do you think lessons from players that are stronger but not masters can be beneficial? Yeah, absolutely. But I also think that there's a lot of people out there who are fakes, who pretend they really know chess, and you know, they're kind of like full of it. So you have to be thoughtful about it. I mean, they pose as like chess teachers, but really they teach you bad things. I mean, these people exist. There's some really good teachers who are below master level, and there are other people who are not, you know. So yeah, it's a tricky situation overall. I feel like I'm playing the Philidor here, but I mean, you know, it's not like across the board people under 2200 or master level. It's a can't be good teachers. That's ridiculous. No, lots of chess teachers are just not really good in pressure situations, and they you know, maybe get nervous or just don't really enjoy competition, but they still have a wealth of knowledge. That's the key, I guess. Annan asks, dude, have you gotten faster lately, or is it just my imagination? It doesn't seem like you used to play as fast as you do lately. Like you used to take more time. I'm not sure this is even a good move, but it's certainly a natural one. King h2. Okay. It's difficult to find something to do with black here without weakening my position, and I can't simplify very easily. That's what I'm aiming for. For better or for worse, we're going to try to clarify the situation a little bit, trading some pieces. Which way to take back is kind of awkward. Pawn takes is even possible. From experience, taking with the bishop, I guess. I got 28 seconds to his 5 minutes. It's kind of insane. Bishop g4 would have been a cool move there. Damn. Does that even work? Yeah. Well, he could take and play king. It would have been weird. He could take and play king h3. He's probably in danger of getting mated there. Yeah. I'd have a perpetual. I guess I'd have to take a draw by repetition. Bishop g4, take, and then knight, just check perpetually. If I take the rook on d1, I could play something like rook a5 maybe. Speak of the devil. Rook a5 could be an option at some point. You've got to be aware tactically, but he's got 3 minutes and I have just my increment left. Oh man, that's my pawn hanging. Okay. Such a massive time advantage. I think I would have taken the draw if I had realized. Wow, that was kind of a surprise. Oh, e5. An unexpected journey with the hobbits. No idea what I'm supposed to play there. I just almost freaked out entirely with 7 seconds left. Okay. Very little time playing Ananas is playing literally like Jesus in this game. And super fast too. God, man. How are you not a master? Not the greatest square on earth for my knight now. Man, the queen is pretty intrusive. I never have any counterplay of any kind. It's ridiculous. Like, now he's using time. Extremely difficult game for black. Okay, this is a risky move. What is going on here? We got his queen off of b4, which was like huge. Small threat, nothing major. This is the last game for today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow night with a viewer tournament. 7+2. All right, we were just very fortunate to hang on there. I guess at the end I was winning. But before you add a massive advantage positionally, this looks like it's equal. Yeah, I sort of bluffed you here. You had queen takes b7. I'm just losing that pawn. Okay, man, tough game, Ananas. Thank you for playing, guys. Interesting stuff. I will be back tomorrow night with the viewer tournament. Got to run. I want to thank the subscribers. Thanks, everyone. And thanks, Soltigo, for helping keep the trolls under control here at the last moment. Anyways, it was still fun, and I will be back tomorrow. So I hope the games were instructive. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Bye-bye.